Hey everybody, welcome back to the Ask Jerry Show. We've been waiting for you. Have you been waiting for us? Ask Jerry, we're on every Tuesday night from 8:30 to 9 p.m. And you can also watch us on the web. And we have a website which is going to be coming up on the crawl. You're going to see that right down here. And just to remind you, the folks, that the blog is up and running, as I promised you a couple of weeks ago. It's up. And we had a couple of emails also. We'll show you that in a couple of minutes where to do that. Tonight, I want to start the show with, well, a parent asked me, I get a lot of questions as a coach, what to do with, what parents want to know, how to have a better relationship with their kids, how to bond with them, how to discipline them, but basically how to have a healthy relationship. And you know, it's kind of ironic that when kids are very, very little, they love you, they adore you, you are everything to them. I love mommy, I love daddy. My mommy's a better cook than you, my father is smarter than yours. And somewhere in the pre-teenage years, that starts to change. As the kids are reaching out and bringing others into their lives, their peers, their friends, their parents become a little bit less important to them. So it's kind of ironic. It doesn't mean that they love you less. It's that they're learning how to live their life, how to negotiate through their lives, and you become a little bit less important to them. And a lot of parents around this time feel rejected, let down, taken for granted, and not as important to their children who they brought into this world. And some parents even get resentful. So I said a couple of weeks ago that you know, most parents do want to have intelligent children, and Buckminster Fuller once said that a genius is someone that had the right mother or even the right father. And whether parents love their kids or not, whether kids love their parents or not, almost all parents want their children to grow up and succeed and to be successful in life, to be smart, to make their way through life with the least amount of friction as possible, to succeed, to get ahead. So, how is that done? One of the ways is if you treat your child, if you instill in your child the fact that he is smart, he will probably grow into that smartness that you attribute to him. Okay, so I remember once seeing a parent tell the kid to study hard. You know, you're not studying hard enough. You need to do another half hour of your homework. And, you know, I guess studying hard, doing homework will make a kid smarter. But a lot of times what that does is it gets a kid to memorize, to be like a parrot, to remember what the teachers are teaching, and to become a good test taker. But in order for a child to develop their inner intelligence and their self-esteem and a sense of themselves, they need to be taught that. And unfortunately, they don't teach that a lot in school. So I had a parent ask, how can I instill that in my child? Okay, so the more you respond with extreme interest in everything that your child says, the more your child will start to realize that everything he says or thinks or asks is important, as opposed to how many of you out there can identify with this? So you ask your parent or your teacher a question, and they say, "That's a pretty dumb question. How are we doing with the sound out there? Is it on? Yeah. All right. Well, that's a pretty dumb question." Or, "Boy, you should know the answer to that already." What will that do? What will that do to a child? It teaches a child to not ask questions, and what's that saying? The only stupid question is a question that hasn't been asked. So there is no such thing as a stupid question. How do you teach a child that all of his questions are not stupid? I remember being in, what is it, 5th grade, and I asked something. I really didn't know the answer. And my teacher, not to mention her, well, I will, she's long gone, and she was mean to me. Mrs. Brogan, wherever you are right now, and if you're around right now, you're probably 110 years old. Mrs. Brogan, you scared me from asking questions, because I would ask a question, and you said, "Boy, there is my prize student Jerry asking a really dumb question," and the whole class laughed at me. Well, do you think that I was very eager to ask questions in Mrs. Brogan's class? No, I never knew if Mrs. Brogan was having a bad day, was she going to make fun of me? So I learned not to ask questions. So a lot of kids do that. They don't ask questions, and then they don't know the answer, and they fake it. They make believe they know it. So it's important your child asks a question. Every question is wonderful, valuable, and to treat it that way. There is no such thing as an inconsequential question. There's no ridiculous question. So if your child is going to be judged by you, they're going to be afraid to ask questions, or what they're going to start doing is sometimes they're going to ask only intelligent questions. And I like to say that dumb questions are very important. Sometimes dumb questions are more important than intelligent questions. So to instill that in the child is whatever he says. In other words, for example, a child says to you, "Mommy, I just found out that ghosts really wear red sheets instead of white." Now, someone might say, "What are you talking? Everybody knows that ghosts wear white sheets. How can you say such a thing?" Well, the kid's going to go, "Oh yeah, how could I say such a thing? That was pretty dumb. I'm not going to say that again." Now, when a kid says, "I'm not going to say that again," a lot of things get clumped into that. So the child starts to edit himself or herself, and pretty soon, not asking questions and not learning. So what do you say when a child says ghosts wear red sheets? Something like this: "Oh, red sheets? You mean like bright red or dull red or magenta sheets? Or what kind of red are you talking about?" Tangerine red," the kid says. "Oh, well, that's a very interesting color. So do ghosts wear other sheets besides red, like on holidays? Do they wear blue sheets?" So do you see what we're doing? We're not telling the child he's right or wrong. What we're doing is we're engaging. We're going with his agenda. We're getting him to feel that whatever he wants to talk about basically is fine with us. Okay? Now, why can you say dumb things like that? So that's very, very important. So for that email that came from a parent, I hope that answers your question. Also, last week we had an interesting phone call from Oaxaca, Mexico. Kevin. So Kevin, if you're out there, if you're watching us on the web, please call in and we can answer the question that you asked last week. By the way, just so you know, this is the website, AskJerry.tv. This is the blog, AskJerry.tv/blog. There is, I'm doing this through the mirror, this is the phone number, which is, that's 212-757-2076. And our email is right up here, jerry@askjerry.tv. So, a couple of weeks ago, there was a riddle that we asked, which was, how is being in a relationship like driving a car? So if you weren't here, I'm going to give you the answer to that riddle. Driving a car is like a relationship because when you're driving a car and the road veers a little bit to the left, if you're an experienced driver, or even if you're not, your hands automatically start turning the wheel a little bit to the left. And when the road straightens out, your hands are immediately going to straighten out the wheel. When the road curves a little bit to the right, you are immediately starting to turn the wheel a little bit to the right. You're responding to the road in the moment. You are in the moment in your relationship with the road and with the car. Unfortunately, in relationships, that doesn't often happen. It doesn't happen often enough. What happens is someone says something to us and we don't respond. Someone calls us a jerk and we don't respond. Let's not use that example for now. I'm going to come back to that. Remind me about coming back to the word jerk. Someone says something to us and we don't know how to take it. We don't know what they mean by that. We wonder if they're insulting us. We wonder if they're criticizing us. So we wonder, should I say something? Should I not? We start to edit ourselves. And what happens is that person then doesn't know that we didn't like it, that we weren't sure how to take it. They don't know that it had an effect on us. They will probably do that or something like that again. So in a relationship, we need to let them know. So driving a car, being in a relationship is like driving a car because you must respond in the moment to what's going on, letting people know how you're receiving them, how they're affecting you. And in the moment, most relationships or many relationships are not lived in the moment. So talk about, I'm going to come back to the jerk word, okay? So first, we sort of know already, don't we all know already that that old saying that we teach others how to treat us? And the way we teach them how to treat us is by not being in the moment, not saying, not telling them when they're bothering us, not even telling them when we like what they're doing. We don't basically give them feedback on how we are receiving them and feeling about what they say. So in a sense, they're treating us the way they think that we should be treated, not necessarily the way we would like to be treated. So a lot of pop psychologists and advice columns say that when someone hurts you, you should say, "Hey, that hurt me," or "Hey, I didn't like that." Well, now, technically speaking, that's true. Technically speaking, that's true. We have another philosophy here at the Ask Jerry Show. In relational science, if you think about the scientific, the mechanics of relationships, when we tell someone we didn't like what they said, what are they going to feel? We always have to think about how they're going to feel. They're going to feel criticized, they're going to feel wrong, they're going to feel scolded perhaps. Now, they may apologize to us, but how do we usually feel when we're scolded or criticized or people point out our defects? We kind of don't like it, and we become defensive. Some people become very defensive, some people become a little bit defensive, but a lot of people don't like that. They feel that they were just told off. So if we tell someone that we didn't like what they just said, we have spoken up for ourselves. But if they feel scolded or they feel criticized and they feel hurt, we have helped ourselves, but we haven't helped them, which means we haven't helped the relationship. So it's not about you feeling good in this relationship. It's not about them feeling good in this relationship. It is what is the health of the relationship. It's the relationship that matters. The give and take in a relationship. But if you take care of yourself at the expense of the other person, I heard someone once say, "I tell it like it is. You know, let the truth may hurt, but I tell it like it is." Okay, you tell it like it is. That's great for you, perhaps, but is it great for them? Probably not. They may not tell you, but probably not. So if you do what's right for the relationship, you will have a better relationship for a longer time. So how do you tell someone when they say someone calls you a jerk? What do you say? Well, a lot of people say, "Hey, don't call me a jerk," or "Hey, you're a jerk yourself," or "Hey, I don't like when you talk to me that way." Okay, all of these things can work, and if you're stronger or tougher or more of a bully than the other one, and you say, "Hey, don't you ever call me a jerk," well, you might scare that person. They might feel threatened and back off. But that's good for you, perhaps, because they may never again say that, but is that good for the relationship? Probably not. If you scared someone, if you pulled a rank on them, if you bullied them, if you threatened them, or if you've commanded them or controlled them into not saying that again, they may not say it again, but is it going to be a healthy relationship? Probably not. And those things start to add up after a while. So human beings, unlike in the animal kingdom mostly, human beings sort of keep a list in the back of their head. In 1967, Melissa said something to me, and I wish I could find her, and I would tell her off, okay? Or Mrs. Brogan, you know, when I was like 7 years old, and Mrs.